having his pro day today, and State College as well. Like Abdul Carter, he did not work out last season. He totaled over 100 receptions for the Nittany Lions and went over 1,200 receiving yards. He's versatile, a do-it-all tight end. Brooke Pryor caught up with him today.
How did you make the decision to not work out here at Pro Day?
Yeah, it was just, a lot of stuff goes into it, and, just been focusing on being the best football player I can be when, April, May, June comes around. So that's kind of, where the focus has been at.
What is your pitch to teams right now about why they should draft you? They can see the tape, they've seen all the measurables, but what are you telling them about what you're going to bring to their organization?
Yeah, I think me, as a player, I try and be a team guy, and I'm playing for the team and the guy next to me, not necessarily myself. And I feel like that's kind of what the power of football is, kind of that brotherhood you can build, and that's really what I love about it, and that's the type of player I am.
Okay, to Matt Miller now. He has Warren going 12th overall to the Cowboys. Obviously, there are several teams that could really use this guy. Matt, why do you like the pick for Dallas?
Dallas needs another option in the passing game. CeeDee Lamb is great, but they need someone else. They traded for Jonathan Mingo. He hasn't really popped off yet. Having someone that can do what Brock Bowers did last year for the Las Vegas Raiders, take away some of those intermediate targets. Warren is one of those players, when he has the ball in his hands, defenders don't want to tackle him. That's how he was able to score a touchdown as a receiver and a runner. Oh, he also threw a touchdown last year. I mean, he's a football player. I know it's such a cliche, but that's just exactly who he is. He can line up in line. He can block in the run game. He can get open deep. The USC game right there is one of the best tight end games you're ever going to see. If you can find that game, watch it. He just went completely off against USC. He can run every route in the playbook. He's a difference maker. That's what Dallas needs. I know we've become fixated on Ashton Jeanty to the Cowboys. He's not going to be there, guys. I'm sorry. This is the next best option and how you can get this offense finally sparked a little bit. Give me Tyler Warren in Dallas.
I am torn on this because I love Warren. I love what he does in particular with the ball in his hands, and I do think he would be a good fit. But I could also argue that Matthew Golden, the Texas receiver, might be a better fit, and also from a need/positional value standpoint in terms of the money you save by having a stud rookie wide receiver would be really hard to pass up. He just brings that speed, and also he's got great hands that I think would make him a nice complement with CeeDee Lamb as like a classic Z. I could see that passing attack really taking off, and they could push the ball downfield more with those two receivers in the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult part about this conversation, right? We're talking about two extremely good football players, and every team is better when you add a great football player. When you're looking at the roster and you think about Shoemaker, you think about Jake Ferguson, they do have two pretty good options at the tight end positions that they drafted, I think, 3 and 2 years ago. But when I look at Tyler Warren, here is why dude ain't working out. Because he said, hey, y'all, go watch the tape. If business is the grass, that's what Tyler Warren is standing on. I got to see it in person, and he was everywhere. He ran the ball from the quarterback position in the Wildcat. He started out at Z, coming in motion, playing at the U position, being the inline tight end. He can absolutely do it all. And so when you're talking about Tyler Warren, you're talking about another weapon, not just the tight end. Much as Matt Miller said, in the sort of same vein as a Brock Bowers who took over the world in Las Vegas, he just needed some freaking help.
And for that reason, the Indianapolis Colts are really hoping that the Cowboys do what I just suggested and take Matthew Golden, because I have to think that's the floor for Tyler Warren. I mean, Colts tight ends ranked dead last in yards after the catch last year. Just 217. I'm pretty sure Tyler Warren had 217 yards after the catch in like 2 games. Just absolute hand and glove fit in that offense. So they better be hoping that it works out that way.
Yeah, the Colts are sitting there at 14 saying, please listen to me now. Please take Golden. Warren, 700 yards after contact in 2025, right? That was the most by a Power 5 tight end over the last 5 seasons. Somebody is going to be real lucky to get him. Other prospects working out today as well at Penn State and at Ole Miss, too. So, Matt, who are some other players we should be looking out for?
Yeah, there's a ton of scouts at these 2 pro days because of all the talent they have. But let's look at linebacker Kobe King to start this off. I'm a big fan of his. More of a thumper, kind of a throwback linebacker that allowed Abdul Carter to go play defensive end. He ran a 4.62 today, according to scouts who were there, with a 9-foot 10-inch broad jump, 26 bench press reps, a 4.2 second time the short shuttle. He is more of that Dre Greenlaw type that's going to scrape. He's going to make things happen between the tackles. Currently have him as an early day 3 prospect, somebody I'm a big fan of overall. Now here's a guy that I know Ryan and Mina are going to love. JJ Pegues, 7 touchdowns last year, but he's also a defensive tackle, and he had a great pro day workout today. I talked to one scout who was there. He said, this is one of the better defensive line pro days I've seen. And guys, they announced him today as offensive weapon, JJ Pegues, before he went and did the D-line drills. I think he could go in the 2nd or 3rd round. He is a fantastic all-around player, and he gives you a lot of positional versatility. And Kevin Winston, one of the top safeties in this class, he tore his ACL in mid-September. He's running a 40-yard dash today, and depending on which scout stopwatch you look at, he was somewhere in the high 4.4s to a 4.5 flat. Just amazing to see him out there performing again after that short timeline. I thought he had a shot to be a round 2 pick before the injury, so he's definitely pushing himself back up NFL draft boards. One of the better free safety prospects you're going to see in this year's draft.
Yeah, that 40 time today would have put him among the top 10 safeties at the combine. 5 months removed from ACL surgery, hadn't played since September, but he expects to be ready for camp. Gotta love it when a guy shines on his pro day. Coming up, Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart's stock has been rising in recent mocks. So could the Steelers actually make a move for him in April? You don't want to miss what RC has to say on this next on NFL.
Writer Jeremy Fowler and our NFL analyst Louis Riddick. And Jeremy, I'll start with you. Shedeur Sanders is widely expected to have his name called at the beginning of the draft next month. What are you hearing about interest in Sanders atop of the draft?
Yeah, I mean, the people I've talked to believe that Shedeur Sanders is under consideration in that top 3. You're talking Browns at 2, Giants at 3, although Abdul Carter, the pass rusher, seems to have momentum a little bit for the Browns at 2. Here's the tricky part with Sanders. Before I walked in here, I texted with a half dozen or so high-level personnel people with teams. I asked them a simple question. Do you have a first-round grade on Shedeur Sanders? Meaning, do you see him as a first-round talent? 4 said no, more of a second-rounder. 2 said yes, that he's a mid to late. Cam Ward is that type of player. They don't see Sanders as that. So maybe the Saints at 9, if he starts to fall a little bit. They've been doing a lot of homework on quarterbacks. Yeah. Somebody will stop him if he does fall out of there.
Yeah, that is interesting because some mock drafts have him going as late as 26 into a contender in the NFC. Louis, do you see Sanders falling to the Saints, though, at number 9?
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. Because, look, this whole process, as Jeremy is alluding to, is very subjective. And you can get 10 different scouts and get 10 different opinions. Guys, there may be some scouts who have him all the way down 3rd, 4th round, like where Dak Prescott was drafted for the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of varying opinions with him. But all it takes is one organization to feel as though he has the requisite makeup, he has the requisite arm strength, and he has the requisite, upside to be worthy of being drafted in the top 10. And the Saints may very well be one of those teams. Look, I know right now the Saints are they're watching Jackson Dart work out as we speak down at Ole Miss. I mean, the Raiders at 6, are they really out of the picture right now as far as quarterback is concerned with Geno Smith? I know that is a place that Dion would love to see Shedeur wind up. So, yeah, I think all these different teams are in play. And if he does slip past 9 and slips out of the top 10, there's no way you're going to tell me that Pittsburgh won't be eyeing him along with Tyler Shuck, as they sit down there at 21. He'll find a home, but your guess is as good as mine as far as what teams ultimately view him as and what price they're willing to pay in order to secure his services.
Yeah, we'll see all that talent on display at Colorado's Pro Day next Friday. And Jeremy, another quarterback that we've been monitoring, Aaron Rodgers, of course, for weeks and weeks.